It's International Peace Day, and today's show is all about promoting peace, whether through social intervention, education, or crime prevention techniques. I'm Theodore Henry. Stay tuned.
PBCJ Symposium 2016. Public Broadcasting, Agenda for the Future.
Come and join PBC Jamaica as it hosts its first symposium at the Jamaica Conference Center, October 18 to 20, 2016.
Grab your chance to interact with internationally acclaimed and local media practitioners, students, communication consultants, policymakers, and regulators.
Let your voice be heard in discussions about the role of public broadcasting in education and social issues.
Learn about innovative digital technology and public broadcasting systems from the major players in the field, based locally and abroad.
It's PBCJ Symposium 2016. Public Broadcasting, Agenda for the Future.
For registration and additional information, go to symposium.pbcjamaica.org.
Good day, I'm Lorraine Mendez and this is your JIS News for Wednesday, September 21. The nation's leaders have been expressing condolence to the family and schoolmates of Dominic James, the St. George's College football team captain who died on Tuesday. James collapsed shortly after the start of a Manning Cup match against Excelsior High School. Education Minister Senator Ruel Reid and a number of officials visited St. George's College Wednesday morning to lend their support.
A young man who I know very well from my time as principal of Jamaica College. And for me, Dominic was one of my standout students. All you have said about him, how disciplined he was, very bright, very cooperative youngster. Our refuge, our strength is in God this morning. For me, Dominic died as a hero. May his soul rest in peace.
Sport Minister Olivia Grange also expressed condolences to Dominic's family and schoolmates.
He had a bright future, a young man with great potential. I personally mourn with this school. I mourn with his family.
And Prime Minister Andrew Holness, who is attending the 71st United Nations General Assembly in New York, last evening offered prayers on social media for Dominic's family and the entire St. George's community. Government will this week continue discussions with the International Monetary Fund (IMF) on a successor arrangement to its current agreement. Finance Minister Audley Shaw says an interagency technical team is currently working on a draft policy on the successor arrangement that could be supported by the IMF. He says emphasis will be placed on fiscal sustainability, debt management, removing red tape to increase competitiveness and business climate.
Accelerating economic growth by pursuing more strategic and transformative private sector investments, creating more fiscal space to increase our capital spending while targeting such spending on infrastructure that supports our growth strategy, continuing to realign our tax structure towards indirect taxes with a view to stimulating economic efficiency while broadening and safeguarding the revenue base through enforcement and compliance actions.
The Finance Minister was delivering a paper on the state of the economy in Parliament Tuesday. In reiterating government's commitment to meeting the two remaining IMF reviews, Mr. Shaw said Jamaica was on track to surpass the quantitative benchmarks for the end of September. Meanwhile, Minister Shaw says government is also on track to meet the two structural benchmarks it had set itself. That is, submitting an action plan for public sector transformation and approving a more efficient structure at the Accountant General's Department.
The draft of the action plan has already been prepared and will be submitted to Cabinet by the 26th of September. We have also committed to approve a new organizational structure for the Accountant General's Department as part of our effort to strengthen public financial management. This is also on track.
There is full support for the Jamaica Agricultural Commodities Regulatory Authority JACRA bill, which was passed in the lower house on Tuesday. Addressing Parliament, Industry, Commerce, Agriculture and Fisheries Minister Carl Samuda said through JACRA, commodity boards such as coffee, coconut, cocoa and spices would be rationalized. He says government would no longer have commercial interests in the commodities. The authority is expected to develop, regulate, promote and standardize the industry, making it more competitive.
Activities of JACRA will be the protection and enhancement of Jamaica's reputation of supplying agricultural commodities of the highest quality to the international market. This will bolster Jamaica's competitiveness in the marketplace as well as enhance our market share.
The authority will also be responsible for granting trade licenses to players in the industry. The Montego Bay Convention Center will now be managed, operated and marketed by the Ministries of Tourism and Finance. The transfer of ownership was approved by Cabinet recently. Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett says the transfer will allow for the development of a new program to drive the marketing of the center as a facility for meetings, short courses and other forms of activities.
We are completing an arrangement with the UDC, who were part owners with the Ministry of Finance, and the new owners will become the Ministry of Tourism and the Ministry of Finance.
Mr. Bartlett was speaking at a JI's think tank session on Tuesday. And finally, the Jamaica Intellectual Property Office, JIPO, will be providing advanced training to patent examiners in an effort to protect Jamaicans' works. JIPO has already given basic training to 60 patent examiners.
We're looking for people who will become competent in being able to examine whether something satisfies the criteria for patentability.
JIPO Executive Director Lily Claire Bellamy was speaking at a recent JI's think tank session. The Executive Director says the examiners will also assist in verifying the authenticity of entries to the upcoming National Innovation Awards this November. And that's it for JI's News Today. I'm Lorraine Mendes. Thank you for watching.
I say be careful what you teach your little children. Make sure I know something to hurt them.
Parents, keep your children safe and protected. Stay alert and be aware of where your children are at all times. Submit the latest photo of your child to his or her school. Know what's happening with your child. Listen to them when they say they don't feel comfortable going to a certain place or being around certain persons. Act quickly when your child tells you he or she has been touched inappropriately or approached with unwanted requests. Be the change. Help us protect our children. For more information, call 1-888-776-8328 or 1-876-878-2882.
The Minister of National Security is encouraging every Jamaican citizen to play his or her role in maintaining law and order. Here's how.
Community belongs to us. We must not only seek to collect more garbage, we must litter less. I'm making an appeal. Throw the garbage in your car on the floor until you get home and you can dispose of it properly. I want to warn all my officers who serve this beautiful country of Jamaica. If you know anybody that is going to bribe you, tell them don't do it. Because a police officer can only be bribed by a member of the public. So if you accuse the police officer of taking a bribe, I also have to wonder who bribed you. So it's a two-way street. If there is not a bribee, there cannot be a briber. So you have a part to play. If you're driving fast and you're going to get a ticket, don't offer the officer a bribe. Go pay your ticket. It is when we feel safe that people will invest. That my sister here will have more functions. And when she has more functions, the jerk chicken man sell more chicken. And when the jerk chicken man sell more chicken, the wholesaler sell more chicken. And when the wholesaler sell more chicken, you will employ your daughter or your son because business are run. Prosperity are run for it, and it will run for you. And the taxi man can run all 4 o'clock a morning because he feels safe. And when the taxi man runs, he earn enough money to send his children to school. And when his children go to school, them turn back to teacher and businessman too. We are from the greatest nation under the sun. We are Jamaica. We stand tall anywhere and everywhere we go.
We are going to work our hearts out as police officers, but we will not be able to do anything without the support of the community. You are going to have to be prepared to work with us. We are here extending our hand to you to ask you to join with us in partnership to get this community and this parish back.
And let us work together in partnership. Let us encourage everybody youngsters to join the police youth club. And if there's no police youth club, start a police youth club and invite the police. But we have to hold each other's hands. We have to work together because the increasing of public safety will benefit all of us.
We have a subculture that supports those who do not inform, an anti-informer culture that pervades our entire society that we must break down.
Through the alternative pathway to secondary education, government is ensuring no child is left behind in the school system by providing students with different routes to success. Learn more now.
I will get there. I will get there. I will get there somehow.
Getting an education is a critical first step on the path to achieving our goals and dreams, whatever that may be. But too often the academic path has been limited in some ways, and sometimes those who do not fit into the system get left behind. This is why the Education Ministry, led by Minister Ruel Reid, has launched the Alternative Pathways to Secondary Education.
The alternative pathway to secondary education will be guided by a philosophy which is interactive and learner-centered and ensure that every student gets his or her opportunity to achieve in the selected areas of learning based on their aptitude, interest, and ability at the secondary level. The new approach is based on inclusion rather than exclusion. Firstly, it is grounded in core values which insist that education is best delivered as an active pursuit, doing rather than simply passively hearing. Secondly, it teaches us respect for diversity in curriculum, teaching, and learning methods, and the use of teaching tools. Thirdly, it is also self-examining, demanding inquiry into our practices and respect for all our learners.
And so students transitioning from the primary to the secondary level will be placed on the path to success, armed with tools tailored for their needs. So how does it work?
So we have what we call Pathway 1. And I don't want us to treat Pathway 1 because we say 1, 2, 3 to mean 1 is more important than 2 or 3. We have to use a number for recognition. So we have a standard curriculum, a standard program, but what will happen for learners who are on this pathway, these learners will be coached, they will be provided with support, but because of their level of maturity, because some of them are so creative in terms of the intellectual strides that they tend to make, because some of them are so self-directed, they can manage their learning and all of that, they remain on a pathway that allows them to manage their learning and achieve the goals of the curriculum. Pathway 2 is treated as a transitional pathway. For this pathway, some of our learners are struggling. It does not mean they are struggling in every area. It is saying that they need some extra help. So we're going to be providing for these learners additional support. We're going to be monitoring these learners.
Those students on the secondary pathway 3 will also have an opportunity to pursue a career to meet their specified needs.
Those at this level will be largely engaged in technical skills training.
So what we're addressing here is the discredited notion that one size fits all. We believe the alternate pathway represents a best fit for Jamaica and for secondary education system. I'm convinced that if we all work together, students, parents, teachers, school, the opposition, the ministry, or the diaspora, all our stakeholders, then the alternative pathways to secondary education program will prove to be a major success.
I will get there. I will get there. I will get there somehow.
Parents nowadays don't know if they school them pitney. They school them pitney and tell them how they ugly, that fit up. Tell them how they look like they ugly pooper, that fit up. Tell them how they head dry like a coconut brush, that fit up. Tell them how they not come out to nothing good, that fit up.
Yes, children are precious gifts from God and are our heritage. Parents, guardians, stop abusing them. Speak life and healing into every child's life, and let us play a positive role in shaping and molding the next generation.
I mean, I want a little bit fit on a gunman. Still you never listen. Your ears must be missing.
Using sports to promote peace. That is the mandate of the Fight for Peace program. Organizers are equipping young people with the necessary tools to combat violence. Take a look.
Through an alliance of partners, Government Citizen Security and Justice Program CSJP is empowering at-risk young people aged 7 to 29 to resist crime and violence. And the intervention is modeled on a Brazilian program called Fight for Peace.
Fight for Peace is an NGO that uses boxing and martial arts as well as a holistic set of services for young people to help get young people that are living in violent communities out of crime and violence and into more positive life outcomes.
In this local version, dubbed Kick Out Crime and Violence, youth in 6 inner-city communities are engaged in personal development based on 5 pillars: boxing, martial arts, education, employability, youth support services, and youth leadership. Support to carry out the program has been boosted by a recent $20.7 million grant from the United Kingdom Department for International Development, DFID. It's allowing CSJP and its partners to implement the project in the communities of Hannahtown, Denhamtown, Trenchtown, Fletcher's Land, Parade Gardens, and Tivoli Gardens in Kingston. Throughout the week, youngsters in these communities are exposed to boxing, wrestling, and taekwondo classes, which are not just fun, but are also instilling discipline, self-esteem, confidence, and the strength to resist negativity, regardless of the circumstances.
It also teaches them to control their physical aggression and to use that aggression smartly, because the thing about these sports is that it's not necessarily the strongest person who wins, it's the person who has the most control over his or her physical strength. And so that has been proven to be a really effective bridge in teaching them about self-control in general. If you learn to control yourself in the sport, it's easier for you to learn how to control yourself in life.
Tell me guys, how would you define communication? So what is the interaction between two or more persons? Interacting anyway, we don't even have to use words. We don't have to use sign language or have millions of words. Body language, gesture, gesticulation, and all those things, right? Or the act and the process of using words, sound, sign, or behavior to express or exchange information.
This social intervention program, which started in May 2016, is being jointly delivered in Jamaica using a network of social development partners already involved with youth development, including the Social Development Commission. Other partners are the Peace Management Initiative, Jamaica Defence Force, Jamaica Boxing Board of Control, Capoeira Alafia, Rise Life Management, Youth, Fletcher's Land Benevolent Society, Joytown, Boys Town, and Bread's Treasure Beach Foundation.
Well, working with the partners that are a part of the Fight for Peace network, we asked them to refer young people to us who they were already relating to in some way. So either it was a young person that was in one of their programs, but they don't think that the program was working as effectively for that young person, or somebody who had just dropped out of their program, or somebody that was kind of on their radar to come into another program.
The various groups meet at the JDF Up Park camp on Saturdays for the training session.
This is an opportunity, not just for us at the ministry, to really hold hands with you, Fight for Peace and DFID, as we engage our youth and empower our youth to become the ambassadors and the messengers in their communities.
And I think Fight for Peace International and its partners in mixing sport, skill development and mentoring have had great success in the UK, Brazil, and also emerging in Jamaica to improve the lives of at-risk youth. We firmly believe that an effective government-led public health intervention targeting at-risk youth in the communities suffering most from the scourge of violence can really help improve community security in Jamaica.
You can play a major part in maintaining peace in our society. How so? All right, the next time you're in a situation when you are angry, consider the following steps. Step 1, before you speak or act, stop. And if you can walk away, do so. Step 2, take some deep breaths. This will help to calm you down. Step 3, once you are calm, express your feelings, but be careful with your choice of words. Think before you speak. Step 4, seek to forgive instead of getting revenge. Forgiving someone who provoked you can help subdue your anger. Step 5, learn to communicate your feelings and expectations more clearly so persons can know what you want and how you feel. Remember, peace begins with you, your thoughts, your words, and your action. Let us all seek to be peacemakers on this International Peace Day and onwards, so that Jamaica can indeed be the place of choice to live, work, raise families, and do business.
Well, I dare to make a difference, and I dare to take a stand. Let me dare to think of someone else who's in need of a helping hand.
The Office of the Children's Advocate is very aware that we have some parents who get particularly anxious at the start of a new school year. And so we really just wanted to share with you a few tips that you can utilize to help keep your children, especially the very young ones who are going out for the first time, nice and safe from sexual abuse. Parents need to recognize that the private parts, as we call them, or the genitalia, are regular parts of the body. And so in teaching your children about the forehead and the nose and the hand, you can also teach them the names of these body parts, because that does two things. It puts them in a position to speak about these parts when something is going wrong, and it also tells them that even though they are private parts, it's not too private to talk about, particularly with a parent. children need to know that there should be no secrets between them and their parents or guardians. Oftentimes, when persons want to abuse children, they tend to encourage them to keep a little secret. You know, this is between me and you. But from very early, parents need to establish with their children that the lines of communication are open. Mommy and daddy, or auntie and uncle, or whoever is the responsible adult in that child's life, can actually have a discussion, age appropriate of course, about anything at all that may be troubling the child. The third tip is that parents need to cultivate throughout the child's lifespan that environment whereby the child feels comfortable to speak. Conversation should not be off limit, topics should not be taboo, and you really need to get to a stage whereby you have teachable moments, we call them. So we see a lot of things reported in the newspapers, sometimes on the nightly news, and we can use some of these instances of horrible things that are happening to other children to start little discussions with our own children to give them tips as to how they can avoid or prevent, perhaps completely, any such reality happening to them. For these tips, and of course any other information that deals with children, that is anyone under 18 years, please feel free to contact the Office of the Children's Advocate. We're at 72 Harbour Street, downtown Kingston, and our numbers are 948-1134, or website www.oca.gov.jm.
Well, I dare to make a difference, and I dare to take a stand. Let me dare you to think of someone else who's in need of a helping hand. But if I dare...
Our land has been suffering from immorality. The crime, the drugs, the bloodshed have only brought more sorrow.
We must change and give our children a brighter tomorrow. Let's renew our pledge to God as we work to heal our land and fellow man.
Let's join hands across Jamaica
for righteousness.
Let's join hands.
Let's join hands across Jamaica
for righteousness.
Pray, eternal Father.
Bless this Jamaica land. Let's join hands and hearts together and make Jamaica a land of love.
Today's show has come to an end, but information from JIS is always at your fingertips. Visit our website at jis.gov.jn. Follow us on Twitter at JIS News or like our Facebook page. Got feedback or comments on today's show? Send us an email at jamaicamagazine@jis.gov.jn. I'm Theodore. Take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.